VigilanteWilliamson here with a very simple question, and that is, what is going on with ESPN and all these firings? It's actually a question I know the answer to because for 3 years to the day, my first channel started 3 years ago today. I've been complaining about Disney. I've been talking about their losses they have with the parks, they've had with the entertainment sector, which was the main point of contention for me on the original channel. And it is affecting ESPN. Now, ESPN's had some losses themselves, and some people can complain about the political stuff, and it definitely had an impact. But in a lot of ways, ESPN and Disney's chickens have come home to roost. It's affected a lot of people. Some of the people I really do like. Some of the people I could care less about, unfortunately. Not that I care less about them as humans. I want them to, be able to feed their families. But, I was not the biggest Jeff Van Gundy fan. Max Kellerman. Some of these people, I'm kind of glad that you're off TV. But over the past month, ESPN has let a lot of people go. And just today, a lot of heads were rolling. Now, keep in mind, ESPN and Disney have had hundreds and thousands of people laid off throughout all of his divisions, but not too many on-air talents, even though some people have been let go. So, in one day, we have Jeff Van Gundy, Max Kellerman, Keyshawn Johnson, Suzy Colbert, Jalen Rose, Matt Hasselbeck, LaFonso Ellis, Thomas Shea, Ashley Brewer, Jason Fitz, and June Lee, and maybe others. They say it was about 20 people laid off just today. And if you want to go back for the whole month, Neil Everett, Chris Chelios, shout out to former Red Wing, Rob Ninkovich, they canceled the Keyshawn show. Some of these we already have. And so Steve Young, did they get rid of Steve Young as well? So there's a rumor that he got gone as well. So yeah, quite a few people over the past month have been let go, and a lot of people today. And this isn't a shock. This is not a shock. With Max Kellerman, they took him off First Take, and then they gave him his own show, one with Keyshawn and Jason Williams, and they fired all three of them because the show didn't rate well. And that's how it goes. And I'm going to be honest, a lot of people who are big on Jeff Van Gundy, I was never a fan of him as a broadcaster. And, they said that there were no sacred cows. I think they went for people they thought were expendable and expensive. Looking by this list, sucks to see Suzy Colbert go. She was good, or Colbert. I'm not sure if I pronounced her name right, but she was there from the golden age, so to speak, the good old days of ESPN when it was watchable. ESPN hasn't been watchable in a long time. People on this platform are doing a better job of sports talk than the ESPN pundits, and it became this TMZ version of ESPN, and I think that's turned off a lot of people. Then you add into the political division and divisiveness and just needing politics as a story that drove away quite a few people. Regardless of what side you are on the politics, you know what I'm saying? I think that just drove away people because that's not what people come to sports for. And so I think this is just that. This is that the chickens coming home to roost. ESPN reaping what they sowed. They sold a lot of division. They sold this very cheesy way of presenting sports content. They strayed away from the more sports-oriented, straight-laced, detail-oriented content that, to me, marked what they did in the 2000s. A little bit more journalistic integrity, a little bit more about the game and less about the players and their lives and what they thought and the shoe deals. And over the past few years, the past decade plus, they really ran into that TMZ element. They really went wholehearted into that element. And then they came up with these very goofy arguments. Who's the greatest between LeBron and Jordan? And they made that like all of their content. And then Fox Sports did the same thing. Don't get me wrong, Fox Sports won. But they really leaned hard into this very kind of mindless content. And they were able to see some reward for that at first, leaning into the politics, leaning into the TMZ style content, leading into the mindless arguments that can never be solved and continuously going on. They had a lot of success, but eventually that wore on people. And more than that, we have people on the internet doing a better job at ESPN. And as far as Disney, you know, I have a channel full of go woke, go broke Disney. As goofy as some of the stuff is, and I make fun of the Little Mermaid when I can. You know, a lot of that content just wasn't good. A lot of it, and it was a lot of it. A lot of content that wasn't good over the past 5 years, and a lot of people aren't paying. A lot of people aren't watching. The parks took a hit from the coof, or you know, the vid, whatever you want to call it. And on top of that, they haven't quite recovered, even though people are back, but they still have that loss. And their entertainment sector has suffered, and they just aren't as good of a company as far as the entertainment from a fan perspective, all the way around. And we can get into the politics. We can get into the overly racialized politics, the over gender LGBTQ, despite Disney supposedly being a children's company, even though you look at their history and some of the subliminal stuff, that's definitely not the case. Look about the Rescuers. Think about the Rescuers. If you don't know, the Rescuers have a pornographic image in it subliminally. There's a few others in Disney. There's just a lot of stuff going on with Disney. If you know about how Disney really gets down. But I think on a superliminal level, on a mainstream level, a lot of people are starting to see Disney is not the children's company that you thought it would, and they are suffering for it. You know, they are reaping what they sow. They are getting what they deserve. So it sucks that Susie Colbert got fired amongst everyone else, and Jalen Rose. I don't even want to see Jalen Rose. I don't want to see a Detroit dude, and I guess Chris Chelios for that matter. Don't want to see a Detroit related people take L's. But hey, Disney and ESPN made this bed. They have to sleep in it. But what say you? What do you think is going to happen with a lot of this talent? You know, I can see some of these people, the Jalen Roses, the Max Kellerman, either going over to Fox Sports 1 or doing their own platform. I definitely think that's going to happen. With some of the others, I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe Jeff Van Gundy tries to get a job in the league. Maybe these guys and gals get jobs in other places. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure where the talent themselves are going to go. What do you think about all the firings? Do you disagree with something? I'm sure you do, because everyone seems to disagree with everything I say nowadays. In any event, if you like the video, please like the video. If you're so obliged to share and subscribe, please do that. But even if you do none of these things, thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Good night and God bless. Talk to you guys later. Peace.